Okay, so TikTok, huh? Everyone's talking about it, but it's more than just, you know, dance challenges and viral trends, right?
Yeah, it's a big one.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. And we all saw what happened when it like almost vanished from the app stores.
Right.
Huge deal. And today we're going to really like dive deep into all of that.
Absolutely.
We've got some great excerpts here from Smart Money AI to help us kind of unpack the whole situation.
Yeah, looking at all the reasons behind it and then how TikTok is trying to, fight back and what it means for all of us, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, one of the things that was so striking was just how big TikTok is. You said it's a big one.
Oh, it's massive.
I mean, 150 million users just in the U.S.
Yeah, you think about just in the US, that's a significant chunk of the population.
Right. And for it to just disappear, even for a little bit.
It sent shockwaves through the internet, right?
Totally.
People were scrambling.
Yeah. I mean, it just shows you how much we depend on these platforms.
Yeah, they're embedded in our lives.
They really are. But with that popularity comes scrutiny, right?
Oh, yeah, especially when you've got the US government watching.
Especially,
It's a very close eye.
yeah, all this talk about data security ties to China. It's
It's a high-stakes game.
geopolitical.
Absolute geopolitical high-wire act.
Yeah.
And at the heart of it, you've got ByteDance.
That's TikTok's parent company.
Right. And the big question is, can the Chinese government force them to just hand over all that user data?
See, that's what I don't get. Like, every app collects data, right?
Sure they do.
So what makes this different?
It's not so much about the data itself, but who might end up controlling it.
Okay.
You got to think a bigger picture than targeted ads.
Oh,
This is about national security, political manipulation even.
I see.
The possibilities are kind of unsettling.
So the data itself isn't the issue. It's who's pushing the string.
Exactly. And the Biden administration is definitely not taking any chances.
I bet.
They've been very vocal about the risks, the possibility of China getting its hands on sensitive information.
Right. So what's TikTok doing to, push back against all of this? They're not just going to take this line down, right?
No, they're definitely fighting back. And their strategy is actually pretty fascinating.
Okay.
They've launched this thing called Project Texas.
Project Texas.
Yeah, it aims to store all U.S. user data on servers run by Oracle, because an American company.
So they're like building a wall between the U.S. user data and ByteDance.
That's the idea.
Hmm.
But then you have to think, could Oracle still be forced to share data with the U.S. government?
Oh, that's a good point.
It makes you wonder, does Project Texas really solve the problem, or is it just good PR?
Right. And it's not like the U.S. has a perfect track record when it comes to data privacy.
Yeah, that's the irony. We're talking about two governments with completely different approaches to data security.
Very different ideologies.
Absolutely.
Okay, so besides Project Texas, what else is TikTok doing to try and, stay in the game here?
Well, they're promising more transparency.
Okay.
About their algorithms, how they moderate content. They're trying to address those concerns about manipulation, censorship.
Right.
And they've even hired American executives.
Oh, really?
Yeah, signaling that they're willing to play by U.S. rules.
Okay, but is it enough? It sounds like the government still isn't convinced.
Oh, they've got reservations for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, remember when the Trump administration tried to force a sale of TikTok to a U.S. company?
Oh, yeah.
That didn't work out, but it shows how deep this distrust runs. And now, under Biden, lawmakers are pushing for stricter regulations.
Uh-oh.
Some are even calling for a total ban if ByteDance doesn't give up control.
Wow, that's a huge gamble.
It is. TikTok is walking a tightrope.
Yeah, so we've got TikTok fighting for its life,
Right.
a wary U.S. government,
Uh-huh.
and the whole world is watching.
It's a big deal.
But what does it mean for everyday users like you listening right now?
That's the question, isn't it?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, this is where it gets real.
Okay, so let's play this out for a second. What if TikTok just poof vanishes from U.S. app stores?
It's gone.
Gone 150 million users in the U.S., just like that. What happens to them?
Well, I think some would move on, find the next big thing.
Sure.
But, TikTok, it's not just another platform. It's got that algorithm,
Yeah, that's what everyone talks about.
that For You page.
Yeah.
It curates this UTEEP experience. It's not just a feed.
Right, it's not like just jumping over to Reels or YouTube Shorts.
Exactly. It's not just the format. It's the whole experience.
Yeah, what is it about TikTok that really makes it stand out like that?
Well, I think it's about discovery. On TikTok, you don't need to follow anyone.
That's true.
To find something you like, it throws stuff at you, learns what you like,
Right.
and it keeps refining those recommendations. It's really good at it.
It's scary. Good at it.
It is, and that's hard to replicate.
Right, and that's what makes it so powerful for creators, too.
That's
It's not just about building a following. It's about getting your content seen by the right people.
even if they don't know you yet.
Right, exactly.
And for a lot of creators, it's more than just a job.
It's their livelihood.
It's a passion.
Yeah.
They've built careers, found audiences, figured out how to make a living doing what they love.
Right.
A ban would be devastating for a lot of
It's
people.
like digital gentrification or something. This whole community gets uprooted
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
because of these forces that are kind of outside of their control.
I think we get caught up in the geopolitical side of things and we forget about the human impact.
Yeah, and it's not just individual creators either, right?
Yeah.
Like, what about the impact on online culture overall?
Think about all the trends, the memes that start on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's become a cultural incubator.
It really has.
New ideas, forms of expression, they emerge and spread so fast.
It's like wildfire.
It is, and a ban wouldn't just silence individual voices, it would stifle that whole ecosystem of creativity.
So it's bigger than just dance videos and funny sounds.
Be bigger.
It's about how we communicate, how we share ideas online.
Exactly. It's about connection. And that's why this situation matters to everyone.
Even if you've never used TikTok.
Even if you've never downloaded the app,
Right.
it raises these fundamental questions about the future of the internet, about who controls what we see.
And how we express ourselves online.
Exactly.
It's like this tug of war
It is.
between innovation, national security, and individual freedom.
And we're all caught right in the middle.
Yeah, it is a tug of war, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to understand all the different sides, all the different perspectives.
Yeah, the stakes are high.
They are. We're not just talking about one app. We're talking about the future of digital expression.
Okay, so we've talked about the government's concerns, TikTok's response, the impact on creators, on users.
Right.
But what about the even bigger picture? What does this whole saga tell us about where the internet is headed? I don't know about you, but I feel like we're at a crossroads here.
Yeah, definitely a turning point.
This whole TikTok thing, I feel like it's exposed these cracks in the internet like we haven't seen before.
I think you're right on the surface. It's about data, and national security, but really it's about control, isn't it?
It is who gets to decide, what we see, what we can share online.
Yeah, who has that power?
Right? Is it the governments, the tech companies? Like, do we even have a say anymore?
It's hard to say. It's a complicated web, for sure. You've got governments trying to protect their citizens,
Right.
but also exert their authority.
Of course.
Then you've got tech companies. They want to innovate, but they also want to protect their profits.
Right. And us as users, we just want it all right.
Yeah,
For convenience, we want to connect with people. We want entertainment, but we also want privacy.
right. We want control over our own data.
Exactly. And it feels like those things are kind of at odds with each other.
They are.
More and more, I think.
I think so, too.
We click agree on these terms of service we don't even read.
We don't even know what we're agreeing to half the time.
Right. And then we just share all our data. And then we're scrolling through these feeds that are curated by these algorithms we don't even understand.
And those algorithms, they're the ones shaping our experience online.
They really are.
What we see, what we think of, maybe even how we feel.
And they can become, pawns in these bigger games, as we've seen with TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of crazy to think about it, right? Like a dance video app causing all this drama,
I know. Who would have thought?
global diplomatic standoffs.
Yeah, it shows how powerful technology is, but also how interconnected everything is.
It really does. What happens in Silicon Valley affects everyone.
It ripples across the globe.
So where do we go from here? Do we just give up and let the digital tide take us wherever?
No, I don't think so.
Or is there something we could do to, like, take back some control?
We have more power than we think.
Okay.
For one, we can be more aware of our digital footprint.
Okay.
Read those privacy policies, actually change your settings, and be intentional about which companies you support.
So it starts with individual choices, like being informed.
Exactly, but it goes beyond that, too. We need to demand more transparency from these platforms, push for better regulations, ones that prioritize our privacy and our data,
Right.
and just have these open conversations about, the ethical side of technology.
We can't just be passive consumers anymore.
No, we have to be active participants in shaping this digital world.
Exactly. We have to ask tough questions, hold the people in power accountable.
Work together to create a better future online.
Yeah, one that benefits everyone.
Exactly, one that benefits humanity, not just corporations or governments.
Right, because at the end of the day, this isn't really just about TikTok, is it?
No, it's much bigger than that.
It's about the kind of internet we want. Do we want one that's full of surveillance and control?
Or one that fosters connection, creativity, and freedom.
I know what I want.
Me too.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into this whole TikTok tug of war, we're going to leave you with this.
Be informed, be engaged, and be the change you want to see in this digital world.
Because the future of the internet, it's not something that just happens to us.
We create it together.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.